Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Stacy and today I am going to be working in my new favorite sketchbook journal with the handmade paper. I'm finally over my cold enough that I can do this voiceover for you. This little painting took about an hour and a half. I got a little carried away with it. So I decided to time lapse and voiceover, and I'm going right in with watercolor. This is, I think the prompt word was that I'm following was sparrow. So this is supposed to be a little sparrow, and I'm just kind of shooting for whimsical, cute, bright, and going right in. I'm using an angle brush. This paintbrush is becoming a favorite really fast. It is a, what brand are you? A Bomeijia? At any rate, it's a number 12 angle brush, and I am really, really loving it. And you can get them in many different brands. But this one's really nice. I'm digging the angle, the point, the flat brush, different ways you can use the brush. A little more control with this one than with the round one for certain things. I decided to start with a really pretty green and plop in the basics of the bird with soft browns. And now I'm going in and putting in, there's this color called Butter in the Beam Paints collection. That is a gouache. It's not a watercolor. It's something I need to go through now. I just learned a couple days ago that a lot of my Beam paints that are in my collection are not watercolors. They are indeed gouache. So I need to sift through my collection probably later today and relabel those. Put a little G on the corner so I know they're gouache. And I'm learning that there's something different about them because they're much more opaque and they go down much more smooth and with less flow than watercolor does. I'm incorporating two words into this painting: sparrow and moss. I didn't want to. I just feel like moss should be included with something. So this is a mossy log that the sparrow is against. So I'm trying to get the effect of that kind of that mossy feeling, ouch, on the larger branch that this bird is perched on. You know, birds, they can perch on just about anything at any angle. This one's more at an angle. He's got his little claws dug into the tree, dug right into that moss. Decided to heat up the page. I do have out my Creatacolor colored pencils off to the left right there. They are a larger colored pencil widthwise. They're chunky. There we go. And I'm deciding to go in with those on top of the watercolor to flesh out the bird a little bit, make him look a little bit more realistic-ish and give him some more controlled, some more qualities, bird qualities, like especially the eye. I can do the eye in watercolor, no problem, but sometimes you just don't want to struggle with the watercolor. Sometimes you just want to go in with different media and that you know will put it in the way you want the first time around. Yeah, decided to go ahead and plop in the eye with the dark markings around it and get in those feather textures with the colored pencil over the watercolor. It's just a nice way to do a little mixed media piece. And these paintings and drawings in this sketchbook are mostly for me. They're just so that I can practice, and I really want this sketchbook to be a beautiful flip through. When I go through it, I want to feel like it's a very pretty book to flip through. Does that make sense? I'm sure there will be pictures in here, paintings that fail and are just ugly, but that is the goal, for this to be a pretty flip through book. And I'm loving this paper. It has nice texture. It takes watercolor really well. It takes gouache really well. It doesn't, unfortunately, take a lot of layers of colored pencil without pilling. It is, you got to be gentle and sparing. So know your pencils and your subject matter a little bit, and maybe don't expect quite as much from the colored pencils on this paper. I did have a few moments of pilling when I got into the detail of the face there, and immediately backed right off. The paper pilled a little and I backed right off. And the reason I know that is because I have a pack of this paper that I bought last year that I've worked on. And I've used gel sticks and colored pencil, watercolor, gouache, pastels, ink, and watercolor on this paper. So I do have an idea of what it can and can't take. It is pretty versatile. Is it just lots of colored pencil layers kind of wear the paper down a little bit, so you just got to be aware of that. You can put in lots of layers. You can't blend them. You can gently put them one layer over the other, but you can't really blend them too roughly or too much, because that's when the paper starts to pill up a little bit and act like it doesn't. It's gonna that first layer of the paper is just gonna come right off, balls up actually, and you know, like clothing can pill. That's what it does. It creates a little pill of paper, which fortunately you can, if you catch, you know, if you're paying attention, catch it. You just brush off that little pill, cover up the little white hole that it made, and move on with your piece. I'm going in and putting in like the little colors of the little feathers on this sparrow. Sparrows are, as far as the bird family is concerned, they're a little tame in color. They're a little less flamboyant with their plumage. Most of them tend to be in the browns and creams and black is what I've noticed. If anyone has seen sparrows in different colors, you know, and sometimes their browns are just beautiful, vibrant siennas. So, I mean, it just depends, right, on what you think of as a beautiful, bold color. But in nature, you know, we see all those crazy, colorful birds out there. In comparison to them, the sparrow's pretty tame. I zoomed in a little bit, decided to put on my glasses so I could see what I'm doing. You know, details. Sometimes it is better to work without my glasses for a little while. I tend to get in all my base stuff first, really, really loose and freer, a little more spontaneous, because I'm not focused in on all the details right away. Then I'm like, man, why can't I see what I'm doing? Because I'm focusing in on the details now, and I go, yeah, I gotta put my glasses on. I do use my glasses for reading. That's what I need them for. So it only stands to reason that I might need them for my art as well. Get that mindset, though. Your glasses are for reading. In your mind, you brainwash yourself into thinking that's all you need them for. I really do actually need them for my art. I'm usually pretty good about it. I'm just getting in little textures, little hashing textures for his tail feathers, for all the feathers so they look more feather-like. Instead of just coloring in, I'm cross-hatching one color over the top of the other to create shadow and depth and the texture of feathers. So that is what I'm doing there. Astrid, can I help you with something?
My little bunny's name is Zach.
Your little bunny's name is Sap? Oh, okay. Is he sitting on your shoulder? Okay. Okay. Thank you for telling me. Could you close the door, please? Thank you. I'm doing the voiceover for my video. See you later. That was my granddaughter. She's almost 3. She springs in whenever I'm doing anything. So I've given up. I've officially given up trying to do anything without her little voice in the mix. So there you go. There's Astrid. She has a pretend bunny that is sitting on her shoulder, and his name is Sap. So there you go. Her imagination is just exploding right now. It's crazy. Back to the art. I'm trying to get in his little feet here, but I lose them again later on. I don't even notice until that it doesn't look like he has a foot. It just looks like part of the tree until later. But I mean, sometimes the birds are, attached to the side of a tree and branch, and they're all cattywampus. You don't see their feet, so I'm not too worried about it. And I was like, oh yeah, I've got to get in the textures of the tree too, and some shadows. And so here I go with, I get carried away with the bird and forget about the rest of the painting. Dropping in wood textures. Sorry for that jump. I had to stop for a little bit and move my pencils. Just getting in, I made up his background a little bit just out of my memory from drawing other branches and twigs and stuff and whatnot. The reference photo is I just looked up sparrows on Pixabay and picked one that I liked and decided to sketch it out. But there's like 5 or 6 different sparrows open on the page as I'm working, and I keep looking at different ones that are kind of in the same position, and just kind of winging it. And there's all my pencils again. All the ones I'm using. I tend to hold them in my left hand. When I pull them out of the box, I tend to hold them in my left hand and switch out from right to left as I go. And pretty soon I've got 10 pencils in my left hand, and Astrid must have interrupted, and I stopped again. That's what the jumps are. Generally, it's Astrid. I'll try to remember to put a little segue in there. But generally, it's because Astrid came in and she was jibber-jabbering and needed my full and undivided attention. Could you please turn that off, Nana? I guess. Yeah, I decided to try to get in the moss with the colored pencils as well. That texture that moss has, that soft, kind of whimsical texture. If you hear that in the background, that's Astrid and her mother wrestling around out in the other room. Like I said, I've completely given up trying to have any quiet time to do any of my YouTube stuff while I live here. So I'm rolling with the punches, you guys. Rolling with the punches. Yeah, I'm almost done with this little piece. I want to do more in depth on the moss, but I reach a point where I just don't feel like this paper is going to take any more pencil, and it's just not going to work. So I let it be what it is. I creating a little more depth using a dark pencil here. It's kind of a lavender pencil, and I'm shooting for a little more contrast and depth in the wood grain and the shadow under the bird and the shadowing underneath the moss that I just thought about. Like, if the moss is against the tree, it would stand to reason that there'd be a little bit of deep dark shadows here and there amongst the moss because it's layered upon itself. And this little broken branch situation on behind his tail, decided to shadow that a bit and give that interior broken area a little bit of depth. How many times can she say depth? Quite a few. There's kind of hemming and hawing, and I do a lot of pausing in this one. I did this drawing when I wasn't feeling very good, so there's a lot of pausing and thinking about my next move. I'm sure there was a lot of pausing just in general. But yeah, I am feeling much better. It was another almost 3-week cold. Lost my voice. I'm just getting it back. As you can tell, I sound kind of froggy and dry. Over the last couple of videos, I've sounded a little raspy. Trying to consciously not record videos while I'm all disgusting sounding. And I know it's a big turnoff. It would be for me too. Oh, here I go with my lovely bleed proof white. I love bleed proof white. This is Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white. If you do mixed media, this is an excellent tool to have. Oh, nuts in a basket. See, this is what I should have used on Monday's video. If you haven't seen it yet, it's up on the channel already, but I did a mixed media video last Monday with watercolor and ink, and it was a little floral spread, and I was really wanting a white Posca pen. For some reason I got it in my head that it needed to be a Posca pen. Didn't even occur to me to grab my bleed proof white, because that would have been perfect. Oh well, maybe I'll go in later and fix that issue on that spread, but for the purposes of the video, I got it in my head I needed it to be a Posca pen. I don't know why. But here I am, putting in little highlights, brightening up some spots on his little feathers, the little shiny tips, and where the light would be hitting his little glossy feathers. I think it really makes him pop. Making it pop right off that page. Look at him, his cute little self. I am loving this sketchbook. As you can see a little bit on the left-hand page there underneath my pencils, I also did a whimsical moth. I didn't record it. The minute I got done with it, I was like, I should have recorded this one. But oh well, there will be more moths. I used the sticker in the corner of the page for reference, and got crazy. So yeah, that's it. I sign it and I'm done. This cute, relaxing session. Very happy with how it came out. Would have liked to do more on the moss, really, but like I said, this paper was not going to take much more colored pencil the way I was using it. Yeah, so there we go. I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye.